Now, the rest of the story.
Well, as you can see behind me, I got the 569 hooked up to the 82. Just really getting going as far as getting everything hooked up. I mean, we got all the hay cut, and I don't really feel like the balers were in such a condition that I'm worried about the balers just completely falling flat in their face when we go to make some hay. So normally it's a whole bunch of pre-season, check everything over, look everything over. This go around, with the dry stretch of weather that we have and everything, I'm really just looking to grease them, oil the chains, clean the tractors out, clean the air filters and everything from planting. And to be honest, I'm kind of leaning on just making first cut with them and then doing a bunch of service check over work after first cut. Dad, Ryan, the majority of their stuff is cut. I mean, not including their new seeding. I'd say the alfalfa is actually looking the best. The grass hay, grass in general, is kind of a fall flat in your face, big disappointment. I mean, some of the waterways look all right, but like the valley, I do not really have all that great of prospects for it this year. I think last year it was over, first cut was like 400 bales, I believe. This year, I'd say easily half that. I'd say, okay, even figuring high, if I do what I'm figuring, which it's not even the 1st of June yet. Last year we were making the first week of June. I'm figuring it's going to be 2 weeks yet. So, maybe the week after next week, we'll see if there's a weather. I mean, I'm hoping we see rain by then, But if we have a dry spell coming up here in about 2 weeks, we'll have Dad's stuff, Ryan's stuff, baled, hauled in, put away, kind of see where this dry weather is taking us, if we need to start panicking a little bit as to if we're marching into a drought. It was pretty much a similar circumstances as last year. The issue is I didn't fertilize my grass hay down at the valley this year, largely because logistically I was more or less just working on getting the planter put together and checking fences, and never really got around to ordering my dry fertilizer for down there this year. Good thing I didn't. I mean, the bottom flooded, and even though the nutrients and everything from it flooding definitely had helped the bottom, it is stunted, it is set back. It looks terrible, and I'm starting to wonder that even those really wet areas that were in the video that I had posted, I mean, if it isn't made obvious to everybody by now, I am 9 videos backed up right now as far as uploading anything. I can edit them, I can do all that. My problem is the computer that I'm editing them on won't connect to the internet. I've tried transferring the videos to a different computer. I've tried a number of things, and the aggravating part is the issue I'm having is an issue I've had in the past, and I was able to get it going. I mean, it's a similar issue I had in the past, but it must be a different cause this time around, because what I did the first time doesn't work this time. So that is why, for those of you that aren't in the know as to why my videos are kind of backed up. I mean, I wasn't sure if I was going to post 1 video a week every Sunday like I've been doing. Of course, that would put me clear out to July, or be posting 2 or more videos a week and try to play catch up a little bit. So that's ultimately what it came down to. Also, when it comes to the balers, I'm not really worried about having hundreds and hundreds of bales this year. Was kind of going back and forth on doing just the 569 and baling everything with that, because there's a bunch of material that we're going to be making here. The 569 is the only baler that's going to be able to run it. The 566 I tried last year starting in baling with the 566, and it just wouldn't feed right. But what I'm looking at, I'm missing a bolt. You know, this is your post-season checkovers. This is the post-season checkover. This is something that I caught after I was done baling for the year. It is nothing short of amazing, and how wicked awesome this baler is, that it was still able to put net wrap onto the bales, missing that bolt, because what it does is it's holding this rack tight against these belts. Well, this rail is where the net wrap actually feeds down through, goes down along that rack, and then goes up onto the round bale. And I didn't have any feeding issues. I mean, I made the last 150 bales of corn fodder in relative ease. I was having more issues with the residue being wet and having moisture. But hopefully next year, or shall I say this season, I'm really looking forward to having that other tractor, you know, that 79 sitting right there, that's still sitting on the planter, because I probably got a bunch of replant to do. That's all I'm going to say about that, because I don't think I'm allowed to swear on here. Going through and putting this hardware back in should at least solve that issue, you know, as long as it doesn't keep deteriorating. We did pick up a bunch of mud and dirt, and you know, I'm having some sensor issues with this thing also. It's telling me that it's not reading the bale oversize, expected oversize. So we ran it like that last year, but it's just something it's kind of annoying. It really didn't, kind of inconspicuous, because see this, that's actually how it came off. That's how it's supposed to be according to the other side. It's supposed to look like this. So I'm going to go through and put that on, grease it, run it some more, try to get some of the dirt and dust and debris off of it from making corn stalks. This is the corn fodder baler, hands down. I'm kind of leaning more towards, I'm gonna hook the 566 up. I'm gonna repair at least the one chain that had gotten hot and overheated on me, and it's kind of an undetermined right now. My intentions were to put the 79 on the rake. Well, if I'm not sure if and when, more than likely a when and not so much an if, I'm gonna go replant. I really don't want to unhook the planter just to spin around and hook it back up when, you know, we got enough tractors sitting around. We can put the 46 on the rake, and we all know the 46 can handle it. We'll run that for a bunch of our first cut. I gotta get the 4020 hooked onto the New Holland rake, because I do have a bunch of waterways that, you know, raking it over singly, and you know, just for how tight it is to get in there, it's what I really need to do. Kind of unhandy trying to make them with the 82 and this baler. I can do it, but having the rear view camera on the 76 and the other baler and making waterways is actually a little bit easier to do. Plus you're not so wide either, you know. But as far as how it's looking down at the valley, 250 bales if I'm lucky. Fertilize it, probably spray radiate on it, and swing for the fence for probably a healthy second cut. Even if I gotta let that sit the majority of the summer and just try to let it grow and catch all the moisture it can, and may have to give up on the third cut. I don't know at this point. I'm literally making it up as I'm speaking, so that's just how that is. But I wanted to give you guys a heads up on the fact that we're essentially rolling right into making hay. And once we do this, we have a bunch of fences to check. I have not checked my preg check or run my cow through the chute yet. I got to do it soon. I already know that I'm probably not putting the bulls in June 1st. I'm thinking closer to the 10th or the 15th of June, and still pulling the bulls August 1st to take them down and put them in with my dad's herd, but then keep one of my red bulls around for another 10, 15 days to still give them the 60-day window. Now, anybody that is still potentially holding out, I mean, dumping in 3 or 4 bulls and with 50 head of cows, at least that's how much is actually down. I guess I don't know the actual number of cows that need to be bred just yet, but if I was looking at 50, 55 head of cows that is total down there, I'd like to think that 4 bulls could handle it. And a tighter calving window, if I'd like to see 3 or 4 calves, you know, in a day come my spring calving season next year, largely just to get everybody even and the same size and just boop, boop, boop. And then spin around, I'll be probably looking at selling them January 1st. I'm looking to sell feeders. Keeping them into June like we are. We're getting to some really nice looking calves out in the steer lot, but I'm looking for, at least for the short term right now, I'm looking for a quicker turnaround on them. I don't want to put the extra feed into them. I mean, I'm willing to grain the calves, like ones in the lot out here. I'll probably grain them for about 60 days, throw a bucket or 2 to them a day, get them bunk broke, which they're already babies. Like they're pretty chill. I mean, they're really not all that afraid of me. And hopefully have a nice, well, 7, 8, no, I'll have 7 steers to sell this upcoming January. Not all that impressive, but hopefully it's exponential. It's 7 this year. It'll be, oh gosh, whatever it'll be next September of next year, because I'll have 5 calves to sell in September of this upcoming September. Then roll it to September of next year. It'll be whatever I have for cows that calve this fall, if any. And then by next year, I'm really hoping starting spring of 24 is when I'm going to get into a serious number of feeder calves to have around like babies, and then have a bunch of calves to sell come January. So I'm straying off topic, but this Baler, its primary job anymore is actually produce feed for those calves, especially if I'm looking at a shorter hay crop this year. Probably won't be selling a whole lot. So, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening to me ramble. I'll talk to you guys later.